What is Cafe Mocha? Cafe Mocha is experts, celebrities.
What's up? This is Bell Biv DeVoe.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
This is In Vogue.
This is India Ari.
So much more. All from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Cafe Mocha.
15 years of Cafe Mocha with Loni Love, Yo-Yo, and I'm the producer, Angelique. It's radio from a woman's perspective. Happy Easter weekend. Terri J. Vaughn has a new comedy coming to Netflix. She's here to talk about it. That's coming up on Cafe Mocha. It is Easter weekend. What are the plans? Y'all go to church on Easter?
Yeah, we usually go to church. I usually do a Easter egg hunt over in Los Angeles, Kennethon Park.
The price of eggs?
You can't do that this year.
I know, but you know what? I think that kids are really looking for the young adults to get outside in the park this Easter holiday. And I think just being outside, family, just really outdoors activity. We'll just do the whole family. There's been a lot going on, not only those who are illegal are staying inside. We got people who just don't want to come outside. So I think Easter is just going to be a great place where you can just make you a nice, oh my gosh, some deviled eggs. Oh, I'm a sucker for deviled eggs.
Me too.
I know eggs prices are so high right now, but guess what? Trader Joe's, they have cheap eggs, cheap brown eggs.
Okay. You know what else you could do? I'm really thinking about doing this, but I got to get the material of growing my own chickens. And you know what? You can do it because you go to Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has, they can sell you fertile eggs. Now, fertile eggs are eggs that have been, it's when a chicken has been with a rooster. And it's not the regular eggs. It's on the carton and it says fertile eggs. So if the eggs are fertile, you can take them home, put them under an incubator for about 20 days, and then you will have little chicks come out of the eggs. And what you do is you build yourself a chicken coop, and then as they grow, they'll make eggs for you.
Or be mad at your grandson for cracking it open.
Did the baby crack open the egg?
I went home and my grandson had cracked all the eggs and put them back in the bag.
But that's what it's funny, but a lot of people are doing that. They're growing their own, chickens, and they're making their own eggs. And and then for Easter, even with the Easter egg roll, you could always get the little plastic eggs and not use real ones. And the kids can still paint them and things like that.
Is it selfish to cage a bird just to produce you some eggs?
It's a chicken coop. So they can walk, they can run around and stuff. So
Lonnie's just gonna have them in the house.
Still eating them.
You still eating chickens, y'all. You still eating. It was funny because I posted it on my Instagram on how to take a fertile egg and make a chick, and people were like, "I didn't realize that I'm eating baby chicks," and I'm like, "Oh my, we really need to teach some stuff."
You know what? That's one of the reasons I don't eat eggs since childhood. I'm like, wait a minute. If the mama sit on the egg and the baby come out the egg, that means I'm eating an embryo. And just the thought of it was like,
well, then you're not gonna have cake, you're not gonna have bread, you're not gonna have cookies. All that's made with eggs.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying the visually looking at it and knowing what it is was just too much for my poor little childhood.
Well, if it's fertile, it can become a chick, but if it's not a fertile egg, then it's not. But
that's what I didn't know. I thought they were just snatched before they hatched. That's what I thought.
No, that's it. That's the whole thing. So it's lovely. It's lovely, and it's Easter weekend, and I may go to church. I don't know. I just don't want the doors to be locked like Marvin Sapp. He locked it. Marvin Sapp locked the doors. Lock them doors. We need $40,000. I don't know.
Right.
The Reverend Marvin Sapp, there was a clip from him pastoring at his church. And in it, he said he was doing offering and he was saying that they need $40,000. And as he was saying that, he was telling the ushers, close the doors, lock the doors. And that was just that little 10-second clip got people going, oh, he keeping people hostage to get $40,000 from them. And so Marvin Sapp did come back. He said, I didn't say lock the doors. I said close the doors.
Did he get his 40,000?
I don't think he got to 40.
That's all I'm thinking. Did he get the 40?
If he see me in the church, it's gonna be double. It's like, no, the last time I went to church, I went because I was online dating. This is how long ago I went to church, right? And I was dating a guy who played bass at the church.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went just to kind of see him. And I ain't gonna say which church it was, but they, at the time, the reel was really popping, the show, the reel, right? So they gonna send me right up front. And so I could see him, play. And I was like, okay, this is nice. And so when church was over, I'm getting up to leave, right? While the usher is like, it's like 5 ushers, and they standing in front of me, and they don't talk. They just point their hands, right? And I was like, oh, this the way out, right? Why did they lead me to the pastor's office? Like, wait a minute, I'm trying to go, and a pastor there. And the pastor's talking to me. And why was he trying to get on the reel?
Ooh.
That was the last time I was at a church.
That's a funny thing about Black churches out here in Los Angeles that trips me out a little bit. Celebrities go to the regular church and they will get called out when the churches are trying to get a new building or whatever they're working on. They will point at you and say, hey, you're going to give a little more, or say, hey, such and such gave this much. It's like, well, such and such is a movie star. But
Right.
yeah, they will call you out for the positive and the negative.
Definitely. Well, there was one church that had to have a special section, and people were feeling some type of way. But then the pastor was saying, well, we have this special section because y'all, the regular congregation, are trying to pass notes. Y'all trying to pass scripts to people, and people not here for that. They're here to worship the Lord.
Wow.
And so, it was all of that, happening in the church. So, but no matter whether you're in church, I might be bedside Baptist this Easter Sunday. And happy Easter Sunday to my fellow co-host.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
On the way, we love to ask Lavita Alizé Jenkins. Terri J. Vaughn is next on Cafe Mocha.
Standing in solidarity from a woman's perspective. It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha with Loni Love. Yo, I'm Angelique. On the line, one of our favorite people, Terri J. Vaughn. Welcome back to Cafe Mocha.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, ladies, for always inviting me in. I appreciate that.
We are so excited for you. You are the executive producer of this new comedy, She the People. It's a political comedy. Can you tell us a little bit about your character?
Yes. So it is a comedic, it's a political satire. Very much in the vein of Veep. If you guys ever watched that show.
Yeah.
And so my character is Antoinette Dunkerson, and we start the season with her running for lieutenant governor in the state of Mississippi.
Oh, Lord.
And yes, so all the things, just that everything that was in that oh Lord, that's exactly what we get to unpack on our show. So I think she's smart. She's worked her ass off. She comes from very humble beginnings. She basically grew up in the hood. Her family is still very hood, though she's, just been smart and worked her way up through politics. And now she's in the space where she is going to become the first Black female lieutenant governor in the state of Mississippi. Wow. And, watching her, we get to watch her code switch in the political space, there's one way, but then when she's with her family and her friends, it's a whole nother version of her. She gets to let loose a little bit more.
A little bit or a lot?
There's a lot that she has to deal with. A lot that she has to. The governor, he's a very red, white Republican figure. And watching her have to deal with him, and, he's racist and he's belittling in a fun way that she has to find out how to navigate through that. So watching her juggle that, and she has 2 kids. She's a single mom, co-parenting with her ex-husband. She has her ghetto ass cousin is her assistant. And, and she's trying to really make a difference in her state, for her community, for her people. And she runs up against a lot of, just a lot of blocks, a lot of roadblocks that she has to navigate through.
I love it. She the People is the second series under Tyler Perry's multi-year First Look creative partnership with Netflix, which he's writing, producing, and directing films and faith-based features. To me, Terri, we've been in this business a long time. And to be able to have this type of project, is this something that you always hope would come through someone like a Tyler Perry?
Yeah, well, this is a project. So I've always wanted to have my own television series. I've been, on the ground pitching for the past at least 20 years.
Wow.
Show ideas. And this show is a show that came to me about, and literally when I say came to me, I mean came to my spirit about 7 or 8 years ago, when my girlfriend, London Breed, became the first Black female mayor of the city of San Francisco.
Yeah.
And watching all the stuff that she had to go through, knowing her upbringing, her background, I've always been really proud of her. And then once she got put in that position, just all the stuff that she had to deal with.
Oh boy,
and
did she?
It was always, so it was always a great story for me. Like when she became mayor and she won, and she had to do this whole special election because they just was not having it, and she still won. I was like, oh my God, that would be a great television series, because I've always loved Veep. And I was like, that would be so good. This Black girl from the hood, she works her way up, she's in politics, and she becomes the mayor of this great city. So I've always thought that story was amazing, and it could be told in a very comical way so that we can address some really serious, hard issues that we have to deal with in real life, but being able to make it more digestible through a comedy lens. So I have been working and actually pitching this show for years. And I teamed up with a writer whom I loved. I finally met the right writer, because I was having meetings with writers to try to team up with to develop the show idea. And I was finally introduced to Naya Palmer, and we just hit it off right away. I just love her. She got me. I got her. Her style of comedy was just really irreverent, and it was just like what I love. She's the type of comedy writer that I love. So we teamed up and we developed the story out more. And, she got busy working because she was writing on Run the World. I was getting busy just working on shows, directing shows and movies. So we had kind of put the project down. And what was that, 2023, when the writer's strike and the actor's strike happened?
Yeah.
And none of us, all our jobs went away. All of my work went away. And I was sitting at home and I was like, this cannot be okay. I cannot be in this position. What can I do? And so I was like, let me pick up She the People. And so I picked it up. I called Naya. I was like, Naya, look, I know we're all on strike, but would you be willing to write a proof of concept that if I can put a team together to shoot a proof of concept of this show, would you write it? And she was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so during the strike, we were at work. We were writing this, getting this together. Because of the topic of the show, I thought it would be really important to have someone who was well versed in this world, this political world, and someone that I liked, of course. And so I thought of Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Oh, yeah.
And I reached out to her. And I was like, look, Keisha, I'm putting together this show. I would love to tell you about it. And so she met with me. I told her the show idea, and she loved it. She was like, Terri, I love this idea, and absolutely whatever you need from me, I'm in. I'm down. And I was like, what?
Oh, what
Go
a
ahead.
blessing.
And I just wanted to remind people that Keisha Lance Bottoms was I know people in Atlanta know her, but she was the mayor of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yes. She was our wonderful mayor here in Atlanta and went on to be on the advisory team for Biden. So, this is really her wheelhouse. And having her to be able to share stories of things that she has experienced, being in that world as a Black woman, it just added more meat for our stories. And so we did. So we shot this proof of concept, just put all our heart and soul into it. And when the strike was over, I had my team, my agents, I was like, look, you guys, I got this product. And I showed them, everyone loved it. I was like, I want to pitch it. I want to pitch it for a show. And so they started sending it out, and everyone that called, every meeting that was set up, I'm thinking, let's get prepared for this pitch, guys. And they were pitching us why they should be the ones to do our show.
Wow.
And that never happened to me. That had never happened to me. And so, Tyler was one of the first people that we met with, his team over there. And, they laid out the case why they were the best ones. And it's like, okay, y'all decide what y'all want to do. And I am so thankful. I am so thankful that he's the team that we teamed up with, because it has been the most beautiful, the most exciting, the most collaborative project that I have ever been able to work on.
Nice.
And he gets it. He's not afraid. That's the other thing. Tyler's not afraid to tell the stories, to tackle the tough topics. And he's a genius when it comes to comedy and improv, and the way we work. It's been incredible. It's been an incredible experience. I cannot wait for you guys to see this. It is my baby. You guys are going to love it. It's for you. It's for all of you. It's us. It's our voice. It's realistic. It's funny as hell. She's flawed, but she's resilient, and she is smart, and she's relatable as well as aspirational. And I can't wait for you guys to meet her.
It's Cafe Mocha. On the line, Terri J. Vaughn. She is the executive producer and star of her new show, She the People. It will premiere May 22nd on Netflix. Can you talk about how are you guys balancing the realness, but also the funny?
Yeah.
And how are you guys doing that?
Well, I mean, if you really look at what's going on, I mean, for the past 8 years in politics, it's been the most entertaining shit ever. It's been extremely entertaining.
Yes.
It's been the highs and the lows. It's been laughter. It's been tears. It's been all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of a better time. And when I say that God is amazing, because I've had the show forever. I was told no so many times. We're not interested in doing a political show. We're not interested. But the timing, you guys, God is amazing. The timing could not have been more perfect. Because when we started this journey, even when we got the green light and the yes from Tyler and we started working on it, Kamala was not in position for running for president as of yet. That hadn't happened. And we were shooting this show when all that happened. We were like, oh my God, what have we stumbled into?
Right.
And so it's perfect timing and balancing the absurdity of all the things that is happening that is laughable. And I often wonder, like, what, as a Black woman in a space like this, like, what do you do behind closed doors? It's like, you know, you have to be politically correct when the cameras are on and, you know, you're talking to your constituents and your peers. But then when you go home and you're like, what just happened? And, you know, and you get to, you know, you got to have these conversations with your kids and your friends and you drink wine and you let loose. I want to see that. And so we get to do all of that and make fun out of what's going on in the world and how absurd people are.
I love that. Who are some of the other people featured on the show with you, Terri?
So I have, Keisha Lance Bottoms is an EP on it, as well as Naya, the co-creator, an EP on it. Acting on it with me, Jo Marie Payton from Family Matters. She plays my mother.
Yes.
And you guys are going to get a kick out of seeing her because she is not Miss Winslow on this.
I love it. Love it.
She is my ghetto ass mama.
Oh.
It is amazing. So it's fun playing with her. Jade Nova. She plays my cousin. She's hilarious, and I'm so happy for her. This is her first acting gig. And I fell in love with her from watching these skits that she posts. If you guys know Jade, no, but she's an amazing singer. She is an amazing singer. But she would do these skits and these impersonations of Beyonce and Carly B and Erykah Badu, and they were hilarious. And so I have been a fan of her and have been following her. And we did this podcast that I was doing for Issa Rae's company. And Jade came in and read one of the characters in this podcast. And it was my first time meeting her. And I was like, you're so funny. And I was like, do you mind if I get your number just in case? And this is years ago. This was years ago. And I was like, just in case something comes up, I would love to get your number. So I called her when I was shooting the proof of concept for this. And she's going to steal the show. She does so good, you guys. So I can't wait for you guys to see her in this life. She's hilarious. Dion, I think he's a comedian. He plays her boyfriend on the show. He's hilarious. TC Carson plays a friend of mine on the show. He's hilarious, of course. Denise Boutte. The whole cast is hilarious.
Yeah.
I have an amazing cast.
You know, Terri, we are so excited for you. And we cannot wait. May 22nd on Netflix, She the People. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing. We want everyone to check it out. And thank you again. Congratulations again. And we'll be watching out for it.
We will.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you. And hopefully the trailer and all the stuff will drop soon within the next week or so you guys can really see how fun it is. It's amazing. So thank you guys for having me. Thank you for promoting the show. And thanks for helping make it be #1 on Netflix.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
We love you.
Thank you. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Terri J. Vaughn is coming to Netflix with a new comedy called She the People. She stars in the show. She created the show. She's a writer, director, and she's our guest. She the People hits Netflix at the end of May. Go to your Netflix account, search for She the People, then click the reminder settings so you won't miss it. On the way on Cafe Mocha. She went viral on TikTok playing her bass. Aneesa Strings is next on Cafe Mocha.
We're at Cafe Mocha Radio. Socially savvy on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Serving up more Cafe Mocha on the way. Standing in solidarity from a woman's perspective. It's Cafe Mocha.
This is Cafe Mocha on the line. If you're on social media, then you have definitely seen her with her bass doing her thing. On the line is bassist, vocalist, composer, Aneesa Strings. What's up, Aneesa? Welcome to Cafe Mocha.
Hey, what's up? Happy to be here.
You know, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you got started, because you have blown up on social media.
From Oakland, California. I started on the bass when I was about 12 years old. I started in middle school. It was an accident, you know. My mama just wanted me to do something with myself, stop getting in trouble. So I was like, I'll play the violin. And then they was like, well, somebody got to play the bass. So the teacher just picked me. She was like, how about you? I mean, he was like, how about you? I was like, okay. And, you know, when they showed me how to play it, I just knew how to do it. And he was like, have you ever played any other instrument? I said, no, sir. And, you know, that was history. From then, they just put me in every local program. I mean, because the upright bass, you know, as you know, is not a common instrument. Before I started playing it, especially in our communities, I feel, but, you know, before I started playing it, I never heard of it, never knew what it was, nothing like that. So, but once I started playing it and I was good, I got in every youth program, Oakland Youth Orchestra, the SF Jazz High School All-Stars, the Young Musicians Program at Cal Berkeley, the Oaktown Jazz. So every Bay Area youth music program, whether classical or jazz, I was in that. And then from there went to USC, got my master's in jazz studies at Michigan State.
Nice.
And then I've just performed and traveled with different artists. I've played bass background for several different jazz artists, Jose James, Candace Springs, rappers Duckworth, Tiana Taylor, Umi, just a bunch of people. And then I just was like, you know what? Because I've always wanted to be an artist. I've always sang. But because I was such a good bass player, you know, it's a million singers. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I didn't get as much work as a singer. And, you know, nobody even asking because you're playing the bass good. What we need to mess it up for, you know?
Right.
So basically, after that, I just was like, you know what? We got the internet now. You know, COVID hit, everything shut down. I can't tour with nobody. I can't teach. Every means of income for me is shut down. But I got my phone, you know, and I got my bass. And I can just show the internet what I've been working on, you know, for the last 19, 20 years, basically. So.
I mean, 19 to 20 years, you've mastered bass, vocals, and composition. I mean, how do you approach blending all of this in your music without outshining the others?
Well, you know, being a musician and playing the background for so long, that's what I do. Like, I take pride in that. Like, I take pride in being a bass player who is, you know, first of all, to me, the most important instrument in the band. Obviously, I'm biased, but that's what we dance to. Like, we dance, you know,
right.
We dance to the bass. You know,
right.
The drums kind of support and, like, keep steady, but the bass line is the counter melody, you know, so I like keeping that locked in and, like, never changing. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of bass players like to, you know, halfway solo through their part and do too much. But I think that training of just playing the background, you know, and it depends on the style of music, though, because in funk and hip-hop and stuff, it's, you know, it's a repetitive bass line. But in jazz, it's a walking bass line where you're free and you're making it up as you go. You got to keep that time. But, you know, ultimately you have freedom. So anyway, I love the bass. And I love that role. And so even as a vocalist, I use the bass to support myself. You know, I don't want the bass to be distracting from what I'm doing vocally. So even if I do take a few liberties on the bass, it's in between what I'm doing vocally. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's all about finding those moments to shine and you know, like Prince and the greats and, you know, Herbie Hancock and, you know, the greats. I mean, that's who I listen to. That's who I've studied all my life, you know. So
It's Cafe Mocha on the line. Aneesa Strings. Her EP is called The Calm. Um, I'm checking out, and for all the listeners too, check out her Instagram. First of all, it's beautiful. It's beautiful pictures. It's beautiful music. But there was something that you posted, Aneesa. You said you get tested the most when it's time for you to elevate. Do not
Mm,
break. Can you talk a little bit more about
mm.
that?
Loni Love, girl, I just want to also say that I'm a big fan of you. I love your personality. I loved you on the real. You was always the voice of reason. You always kept it real. I rock with you, girl.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna keep it real with you. You know, so many things happen. As you're elevating. I mean, it's so much happening in my life right now. My father got sick last year, and friends start to, family members start to kind of reveal their true colors. You know what I mean? Like financial problems can arise. Even I got proposed to. I'm getting married next year. That's not a bad thing, but it's a lot of stress. You know what I'm saying? And so basically, the darkest hours right before dawn. It's like right now. It's like I know I can feel that I'm on the precipice and the cusp. Everything I've ever prayed for, worked for, and it's just like every trial that's coming at me right now, I'm just treating it like it's an opportunity. If you knew that you had 13 trials to get your biggest dream, how soon would you want to get to the next trial? You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
So it's about treating trials like opportunities for me. That's where I'm at with it. It's like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to grow, for me to be a better person, for me to learn something that's going to help me on this next chapter. And that's just where I'm at. I'm just like, nah, can't break. Gotta keep moving.
Talking about can't break, your albums are so vulnerable and they are so rich as a Black woman in jazz and soul. How do you navigate an industry that often overlooks or boxes artists like yourself in?
I just pretend it don't exist. If I'm being honest, I just pretend this whole world is mine, and other folks is living in it, and they just don't understand. That's how I feel. That's really how I feel deep down inside. If you ask me the truth, they just don't understand. This is my ancestors' music, my forefathers and foremothers' music. You know what I'm trying to say? It was created through our blood, suffering, sweat, and tears on our backs. So I'm going to carry it with the same strength and pride that they did. And they had way more obstacles than me. They had it 50 times harder than me. You know what I'm saying? They would be on tour and couldn't stop and eat for 200 miles. You know what I mean? Like, couldn't go to the next hotel. Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yes, like how can I complain? How can I complain when our ancestors went through what they went through? I got the internet. We don't have the same gatekeepers they had. I can just put it on the internet, let the people choose.
Definitely. It's Cafe Mocha on the line. Aneesa Strings. Her EP is called The Calm. It's right now on all the streaming services. 6 beautiful songs. And I just want to go through like The Situation. We Are the Music. These are the titles. Levels. All in My Mind. Gramercy Place. H2O. Tell us about these titles and your feeling in making these titles.
Oh, that is a good question. Well, see, Situation, that one came from basically like I wanted to bring that New Jack Swing type of vibe back. Like, I'm an upright bass player. So it's like, how can I, even back 10 years ago, I wanted to bring the 20s back in the 20s. Like, I've been planning to bring the roaring 20s back, That's what New Jack Swing represents, Teddy Riley, all those guys. And, all the early, late 80s and early 90s hip-hop samples had so much upright bass in them. Rakim and Farside and De La Soul and all those type of guys. I'm just like, well, I play the upright bass. I ain't got to find a sample. You know what I'm saying? I could be the sample, sample me, you know?
Right.
And so we just made this beat first. We just made the beat and we just called it Situation. It just felt right, so we stuck with it. But then most of the raps of the song was just me freestyling. Like, it was mostly freestyling, and then I just kind of, edited it, went back and fixed it, made it perfect. But it was just like a feeling we had. We made this beat, and I was like, ooh, and then it was like, just give me the mic. It had that, like, OG hip-hop feeling to it, where we just creating in the studio, and it was really great. And then Levels, you know, the title of the song is Levels to This. You know, so that one was really easy because that song was just about, like, you know, moving through this industry. You know, it's levels to this. You're not going to start at number one. And understand that if people help you, that's nice,
right,
but they don't have to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of learning that, you know, because I think when you're young, you admire somebody, you're like, look, I'm talented, you talented, what's up? You supposed to put me on. It's like, that's not how it works. Like, they just trying to keep themselves afloat, you know? Like, do something first. Make a move. Bust a move.
Cafe Mocha celebrating our 15th anniversary with several getaway trips. How about 7 nights on the Disney Cruise Line trip to Alaska? 7 nights for a family of 4. More details coming soon on CafeMochaRadio.com.
Here's your dose of espresso. Strong, hot news now.
This is the Espresso. If you're wearing synthetic hair, you need to hear this.
10 popular synthetic braiding hair products were tested. Every sample contained carcinogens, chemicals that may cause cancer. Testing found lead in 90% of the products.
There is no safe levels of lead.
There have been huge protests over the past few weeks. Don Lemon noticed something missing. Not a lot of black people.
Because we're tired. Tired of always being expected to show up. Tired of carrying the burden of democracy on our backs while others vote their wallets, their privilege, their fear.
And David Oyelowo's new show, Government Cheese, is about how black people can do the most with the least.
My character is coming out of a time in prison, but he has this self-sharpening drill that he's invented, and it's going to be the means by which his family is going to have a better life. Everyone is sort of looking beyond the place that they are in. And so, necessity being the mother of invention is why it's called Government Cheese.
Government Cheese now streaming on Apple TV+. That's the Espresso.
This is Cafe Mocha. Radio from a woman's perspective.
It's Cafe Mocha on the line. Aneesa Strings. Her EP is called The Calm. It's right now on all the streaming services. All in My Mind.
All in My Mind. I think that one is like what you said about being vulnerable. I think that's the most vulnerable song on the album. Just because, well, along with Gramercy Place, because just admitting being broke. You know, I feel like sometimes when you work in entertainment or when you work in this business, like even if you showing up with your last cent and the rent ain't paid, you know, to a studio session or to a shoot or whatever, like, you know, you can't let people know that. You know,
Right.
You act broke, you're going to get treated broke, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a whole lot of fronting involved, you know? So that song was like hard. I had that song for about a year before I even brought it to the studio because it was just like, I was just feeling so distressed and broke one day that I was just like, man, money. Like, I'm trying to write this letter to money. Like, I'm like, let me write a love letter to money because it's like, we got some problems, you know? We can't quite get this right, you know? So, and then I'm just like, look, Aneesa, it's all in your mind. I started reading, you know, those manifestation books as everybody do when they come up, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it truly is all in your mind. It's that simple. So that song is just a testament to that.
I love when people come from their heart. I think some of the best songs are written when they come from your heart. And I love the fact that you are fearless and living through your truth and allowing us to find a gentle place to appreciate.
Want a little more of our flavor? Stay right there. It's Cafe Mocha.
This is Cafe Mocha. On the line is bassist, vocalist, composer, Aneesa Strings.
Is there anything else we should know about this album?
I love what you said, a gentle place to appreciate it, but just know there's more coming. You know, there's a whole lot more where that came from. And I'm writing every day right now. I got, you know, a whole bunch of stuff in the vault. I plan to be a prolific artist, and you know, we hand carefully selected these songs because we felt that, you know, these were the 6 I had at the time that most accurately reflected the kind of artist I am and how I want people to feel. You know, I believe it's the duty of an artist to uplift.
Yeah.
You know, and to offer solutions and to, like you say, offer vulnerability to let you know, like, because every time I'm struggling, I go watch a documentary of one of my favorite artists or athletes or something, you know, and like, dang, they made it through this and that. Boy, I can't complain nothing. They had this going on. Oh my God. And it's so uplifting to know that they made it through. And even if they didn't, even if life wound up bad, it's like, hey, life is good and bad. You know, life is for the living at the end of the day. So if you're alive, just keep on living. That's all I'll say about The Calm. Stay calm, baby. Do everything.
Are there any festivals we should be looking out for before we let you go?
Yes, I will be at Newport Jazz Festival. I think I'll be at Atlanta Jazz Festival. I'll be at Capitol Jazz Festival in D.C. So Newport in L.A., Newport Beach in L.A. So L.A., D.C., and Atlanta. And
All
I'll
right.
also have one in New York in September. Yes, ma'am.
How do people find the dates and find you?
They go to my website, aneesastrings.com, which is accessible through my social media, at Aneesa Strings, everywhere, on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Thank you so much for sharing. It's great to meet you and hear a bit of your story, and hang in there. It's a long road, but it looks like you're handling
Yes,
it beautifully
ma'am.
so far.
You're gonna be just great.
Where you getting married?
October, later this year.
Okay.
Oh, it's gonna be so
Congratulations.
great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And
Thank
keep
you,
in touch
lady.
with us when you get another EP or album out. We're always there and we'll always play you, sis.
Okay, thank y'all so much. And I appreciate y'all patience and everything. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Take care.
If you want to hear the full conversation with Terri J. Vaughn, check out the podcast at mochapodcastnetwork.com, mochapodcastnetwork.com. I'm Angelique, along with Loni Love and Yo-Yo. Until next time, you can find us on all platforms at Cafe Mocha Radio. Cafe Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Super Radio. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. For comments, booking, or more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.